We'd like to welcome actually back to Art in the Air Spotlight, Sandra L. Young. She's an author and has a series of books which we've talked about before. Actually, three of them, and we'll talk even about maybe the fourth, Divine Vintage, Divinely Dramatic, and then The Ghostly Diva, and all kind of centered around Michigan City, which actually brings us to what we're going to talk about today. She's actually going to do a Divine Vintage Story Walk, a health and enlightening adventure, all centered, and that's going to be Thursday, July 17th, and she has a collaborator. So anyway, she's going to tell us about Sandra. Welcome back to Art in the Air Spotlight.
Oh, thank you, Larry and Esther. It is always so great to talk with you.
I know, it's so nice seeing you, Sandy.
So tell us a little bit about how you have woven your three novels and kind of created this whole walking tour that's going to happen on July 17th.
Well, the Divine Vintage series is traditionally published, and they're all set, as you said, in Michigan City, LaPorte, and Divine Vintage specifically set in the Uptown Arts District. And so there are many locations that I use that are real in the book. And a longtime friend who in her retirement has created Blue Bonsai walking tours, read the book. She really enjoyed it and said, would you like to create a walking tour? Well, of course, with my acting background and everything, I thought this is so fun. So we started talking to partner collaborators and locations like Barker Mansion, where the haunted mansion is loosely, was inspired by Barker. And then Good News Vintage has a lot of vintage clothing. Trinity Episcopal is where a wedding takes place in a church. And then, the library, Lubeznik Center, Old Lighthouse Museum, those are all touched on in the book. So we will do a guided tour starting at 10 a.m. on July 17th, starting at Barker Mansion, and walk people around. We're going to talk about the history of these locations, meet the partners, and how they tie into the book.
So have you picked out your outfit for it?
It depends on the weather. It really does. But it will be vintage, most definitely. Whenever I talk to book clubs or do presentations, which I love. I love meeting local readers. I always wear vintage clothing for my huge collection.
Is there a cost for this tour?
We decide there is cost behind the tour. Rather than charge a set price for this one, we decided to do it just as a donation. And we are putting Eventbrite, doing a link that way. And if people go on my webpage at sandrayoungauthor.com, they can access that Eventbrite link. And we know I've spoken to so many local book clubs that are going to be excited about this. Again, it's a healthy, fun activity. Get out there with your friends. Learn more about the history of Michigan City and some of the locations. I mean, we just see it as a huge win-win for the arts and literacy. And we're very excited to put this together. And our partners have just been, fabulous too, with wanting to be part of this.
So I always hate to bring this up. Do you have a rain date in case something happens?
Well, what we have said, if it thunderstorms, we definitely won't walk. But if it's a light rain, we will be going. So people would be prepared for that. And I took a Gilded Age Mansions walking tour in New York, and it was raining. And we went, we just trotted through the rain, and it was okay. It's not going to be the ultimate, but right now we are doing this. And also on September 11th, we have a second date. We're going to do another guided tour. And we are really super thrilled to be working with the AutoCast system. You may know that. They did the Sculpt Fusion walking tour of the different sculptures. Well, they are doing a walking tour online, accessible, of course, from anywhere in the world on this tour. So the script, we've written that. I've reported my pieces. And then that will be up soon, should be up by the time we air here, that people can jump on if they can't do the live tour and want to do it themselves. They can just listen and look at the script and move themselves through Michigan City. It's also a love letter to the Uptown Arts District of Michigan City, LaPorte County.
So Sandy, how far are they walking? Because it's a kind of a robust walk if you do all of these sites. So I'm just wondering about people who have maybe walking challenges. How much walking?
A couple of miles in there, and we would we'll have a stop as we go along. Like if we go into the Episcopal Church, people can sit down there. Go to Lubeznik, we will definitely have a sit down time and a water break there. At the end, we're actually going to stop at Shoreline and lunch on your own if people want to join us, because Shoreline's in the book. That's where our two romantic leads have a lunch as their romance is blooming. So my book's wrapped dual timeline romances around historical mysteries and a ghostly sizzle. So all those elements are going to be worked into this.
I was going to ask about the lunch item, and I thought, somewhere in there you probably want to have food after you do all that walking. Well, quickly, in our last minute and a half here, I want to give you a chance to talk about your upcoming book that you're working on, which is something completely different.
I am diving into truth-based historical fiction, and it is actually done. I just finished a polished. I'm sending it off to a beta reader. They call them a book coach friend to read it again. It's set at the West Baden Mineral Springs Hotel. In 1901, they burnt down and they built the tallest freestanding dome in the world. I'm basing it from the daughter of the tycoon Sinclair family, and it was a great story. I researched like crazy on this and found out some real juicy, true information that's just elevated the book. And my goal with this one is try to get an agent and move to a bigger press, because it's a super cool story to, again, highlight Indiana and something that was really worthy. It goes through 1918 when they opened it as a World War I, a Great War hospital.
Well, really quickly, how can people find you online, where they can get your books, and remind us one more time about the information on the walking tour?
SandraYoungAuthor.com, more details about the tour and the Eventbrite link. I'm on Facebook under that, Instagram, and again, love to connect. Anybody in a local book club, I'll come out and meet with you and talk about the books, answer questions, or if anybody wants a book before or after the tour, I'm happy to bring them, sign your own copy. It's just so fun to meet everyone locally.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you back at the Divine Vintage Story Walk on July 17th, SandraYoungAuthor.com. Thank you so much for coming back on Art on the Air Spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Art on the Air Spotlight and the complete 1-hour program on Sunday is brought to you by Ember Forge Consulting, thoughtful marketing and digital learning built to express your purpose and grow your reach. Learn more at emberforgeconsulting.com/grow.